Ron Amundsen. Strong to get a 10-round decision win. Decisions are not new to Steve Little, who's a master boxer with only 4 KOs and 16 wins. He boxed well against Terry Norris in the early going of his last fight. He used counter right hands to great effect. All that was until the 6th round, when a Norris right hand put the lights out. Now, with 5 full weeks to prepare and trainer Mark Conrad back in his corner, Steve Little hopes for a better end tonight.
Taking a look at the keys to victory, Al.
Well, for Davey Hilton, he must keep the pressure on that. You have to do that against a boxer like Steve Little. He's known as a left hook artist, but I think the overhand right can get through, as Terry Norris showed, and that's a punch that Davey Hilton doesn't want to forget. For Steve Little, use all the ring. Obviously, he wants to give Hilton angles so he's difficult to hit. And when I say throw the right hand with conviction, he's got a good counter right hand. He's got to make sure he throws it in such a way that's going to hurt Davey Hilton.
Steve Little says this time, no excuses. I've had 5 weeks. I'm ready. Little and Hilton. And Michael Buffer's ready. Michael?
Ladies and gentlemen, before I give the introductions of the main event, I would like to introduce one more person here at ringside. Back in 1951, he shocked the world when at the age of 37, in the 9th round in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, he became the heavyweight champion of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the pride of the Garden State of New Jersey, former heavyweight champion of the world, Jersey, Joe Walker. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Merv Griffin's Resorts International in Atlantic City, New Jersey, let's get ready to rumble. 10 rounds in the junior middleweight division. The referee for this bout is Steve Smoger. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks with gold letters, he weighs an even 157 pounds, from Reading, Pennsylvania. As a professional, 16-9-1, 4 by KO. Ladies and gentlemen, Lightning Steve Little. And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with red trim, he weighs 155 3/4 pounds, from Montreal, Canada. Undefeated as a professional. 24-0-2, 19 by KO. Ladies and gentlemen, Davey Hilton.
You gentlemen, we're giving you instructions at the weigh-in. Are there any questions? Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves. Touch them. Let's go, Deb.
Davey Hilton, who has the support of his entire family. A moment ago, you saw a shot of his brother Matthew on hand here. In fact, the entire Hilton clan is here. Here's a look at Steve Little. I hope it's not a self-prophecy on his robe. It said, Lightning Little.
He hopes Lightning doesn't strike twice, because it struck him last time he was fighting here against Terry Norris.
Hilton opens up very quickly here.
Well, you've seen one Hilton fight, you've seen them all, because they come at you with hooks and more hooks. And wasn't I prophetic? I said how the right hand would land well. Well, so far he's landed about 5 hooks already. So, could I go back and change those keys to victory? I meant the left hook. I was only
said that. You had told me that. I know that.
That's right. I hate when those graphics people put the wrong thing down.
That's awful.
Well, wait. Give me a chance. Maybe we'll get the right hand.
Steve Little has been around the track more than once. Veteran fighter. Been in against some good ones. Has a couple of good wins. Beat Pino Cuevas. David Braxton.
Back in 1986, and even granted that those fighters weren't totally at the top of their game at that point, they were still fairly good and showed what Steve Little is capable of doing. And he had a decision loss to Robert Hines, the man who beat Matthew Hilton for the title and subsequently lost it. He's also in the crowd tonight.
And the people yelling, Davey, 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 are for the most part relatives of Davey
But while they did that, Steve Little landed one of those right hands I said he needed to throw with conviction. He threw it with conviction.
But he took a big left in return from Dave Hilton.
Little is not using his jab enough. I think Steve really needs that punch. We talked about the 2.5-year layoff of David Hilton, partially because of injuries and also his contractual problems. He and Don King, along with his brother Matthew, got disenchanted, and he just stayed out of the ring. And his contract with King lapsed.
Also had a motorcycle accident, broke a leg, broke a finger during that time. And just kind of working himself back into fighting shape now. He's had 2 fights. One was a draw and one was a win. But as we said at the very beginning of the show, he really needs to be impressive, I think.
Good hook by Little, but that shows you that Steve Little is not a devastating left hook artist. That one didn't have any impact on David Hilton.
Little not a guy that's likely to get you out of there. He has just 4 knockouts. Take into the corner of Davey Hilton, and there's somebody new in his corner. Jesse Reed, well-respected trainer. We'll see. His dad is also in there, so we'll see who does the talking in here now and who's really in charge in this corner.
Keep that head whipping and stay in the low angle, okay? And the right hand of the belly pushing all day long. Touching there and then come up with your hook. What's happening when you throw to the body, you're kind of smothering your left hook. Take a step back and crack with it. He's running right into it.
Keep that right hand high because you're throwing the right hand over top of you. Your left hand.
The left hook of Davey Hilton, a good double left hook. And that last one, even though it didn't land flush, really had an impact on Steve Little.
You're good.
Into the corner now of Steve Little. Take a look at our Old Spice punch stat numbers.
Not a lot of punches landed by each man, but the edge to Hilton, and Little threw only 10 jabs in that round, and you know how many landed? 0.
It's less than good.
Yeah. Yes.
Hilton, though, a lot of the punches that he did throw, and even that double left hand that you saw a moment ago in the highlight, the first one was caught pretty much on the gloves, and the second one Little was rolling with. The right hand at the top of the head. Little countered it.
That right hand got in there, and I'll tell you, see, that's the good right by Little. If you're going to knock Steve Little out or beat him, you really want that right hand. That is the punch to get to him with. He's tougher to hit with a left hook than he is a right. Because he leaves his left hand a little low, and sometimes Steve Little's a little lazy in getting his jab back. Now, from Steve Little's standpoint, I'll tell you what, he's found a home for his right hand when he throws it. The reason he's not landing the right more is because of that statistic that he landed 0 jabs in the first round. If he could get the jab on track, Barry, he would drop in a lot more right hands.
Hilton had a right hand a moment ago.
Despite the difference in the records of these two fighters, it's a very evenly matched fight because they both have really very similar skill levels. About the only major difference is the power differential.
The thing that strikes me in talking to Little, and we mentioned this earlier, but that he took his last fight against Terry Norris on 4 days, and he says he had to lose 13 pounds. I guess the obvious question here is, why would you take that fight?
Well, you take a fight like that because they looked at Terry Norris and thought that he had the skills to beat him, no matter what. And it was a good opportunity for them.
But to lose 13 pounds in 4 days.
I agree. I think that's kind of silly. Might have wanted the money.
That probably was the bottom line. Huh? But he says he's been in the gym 5 weeks. He's known about this fight, about this opponent for a long time.
is just making a tremendous mistake in not using that jab more, because he knows Hilton is not going to throw that many right hands over it. Hilton isn't that much of a right hand puncher. He hasn't been throwing the right.
Left hand by Little. And we come down toward the end of round number 2. Davey Hilton and Steve Little.
Time using TNT. Now, if you're having lunch and watching a cast of thousands, then it's noon Eastern, and you're watching TNT's Song and Dance. Savor the highest kicks, the most razzling dazzle, and the greatest numbers at noon Eastern every weekday. TNT's Song and Dance movies at noon Eastern. Just as accurate as a noontime whistle. And lots more fun to listen to. Tuna fish.
And we start the third round. Davey Hilton comes out winging with a left hand that was a little bit short. Takes a left hand from Little. That's backed up Hilton.
I would say if there's one surprise in this bout so far, it's that the left hook of Steve Little, not a big power punch, has really stopped Davey Hilton in his tracks 2 or 3 different occasions.
Take a look at your card, Al, after the first 2.
I gave the second round to Little after giving the first round to Hilton, so I'm dead even.
Incidentally, we should probably point out, we talk about the fact that the last time Steve Little was out against Terry Norris, he lost 13 pounds.
What about
Davey Hilton lost 30 pounds.
Yeah, 2 fights ago when he got back into action. Well, that was the undoing of his brother Matthew when he fought Robert Hines, having to lose an awful lot of weight. And if there's one rap on the Hilton brothers and their dad and the way they go about boxing, it's that they tend to really blow up and get way out of shape in between fights, and it hurts them. And I'll tell you what, if Jesse Reed stays involved with these guys, it's one thing that probably won't happen.
I think you're absolutely right. As a matter of fact, for this fight, Davey Hilton has been training down in Houston. He's been working with Frank Tate. And, of course, with Jesse Reed. And we said earlier, Jesse Reed really well respected amongst boxing trainers.
Well, I think he's right up there with the top trainers in boxing. There's the body work by Davey Hilton. Very important for him. Steve Little is a guy you do not intimidate very easily. I mean, he's been in there with some very, very good fighters, and he's not going to get too stiff.
A jab that time by Hilton.
It's an underused punch by Davey. Hilton knew nothing of Stevie Little. He said, I didn't look at the films. I don't like looking at films. I'd just rather see what the guy has when I get in there.
And he said he needs to look at tapes of me. I don't need to look at tapes of him. The right hand by Hilton actually was the best punch of that exchange. Or rather by Little, I beg your pardon. Hilton forces the action out, but seems to be very wild.
Oh, that is a family trademark, too.
That was caught on the gloves for a large part. At the end of the third round, Steve Little still very much there. And we look at Davey Hilton. Cutting out the score. I'm kind of looking over your shoulder here. And there is Mr. Resorts now, the new Mr. Resorts, Merv Griffin.
Yeah. David Hamlin, the new president, and Merv Griffin, from band singer to TV personality to entertainment mogul to hotel owner. He's done a few things.
There's still hope for us, huh?
Yeah. Does that mean we'll own a hotel sometime?
Yeah, in a Monopoly game.
Can you name the hit tune that, well, we'll get to that later. I'll quiz you on that. Here's the good left hand by Davey Hilton, that jab that pushed Steve Little back. And Davey Hilton, well, his trademark is the body work. One of those blocked, but you could see he's going downstairs very well. So tell me this, can you name the hit tune that Merv Griffin did years and years ago?
Well, I know it's one of two, and we talked about this earlier today. I don't know if it's I've Got a Lovely Bunch of Coconuts or Yes, We Have No Bananas.
Okay, it's Yes, We Have No Bananas, but you're close because I've Got a Lovely Bunch of Coconuts was done, was part of the person that popularized it was Arthur Treacher, the man who was his announcer for years.
That's right.
Speaking of Old Spice, oh, we weren't. We are now with our punch profile, and Hilton remains with not a giant edge, but still an edge there. So I guess, and I think my scoring is pretty much in agreement with that couple of rounds for Hilton.
Hilton continues to be wild. He's active, but he's wild. And the further this fight goes on, of course, then conditioning starts to come into play.
Cut over the right eye of Davey Hilton.
And then that's nothing new either with the Hilton brothers.
No, and it's hard. There's no blood coming out of it right now. They stopped whatever bleeding there might have been. You can see just a smear of red.
That is one of those cuts, though, that could become troublesome because it is right on the brow. Good body shot by Hilton. Cut is going to become a troublesome thing unless they can do some quick work. No, when Hilton does throw his jab, it is a pretty effective jab.
It really is, and it's just a weapon he does. He and his brother both, Matthew, could use it so much more often and be so much more effective as boxers. Steve Little, we talked about the conditioning. Mark Conrad, who's now working with him again, he said he's like a farmer with a plow. He said he just pushes me and pushes me.
In fact, Conrad was with him in his two biggest victories against Cuevas and Braxton. As we said, incidentally, that blood is definitely getting into the right eye of Davey Hilton, and you'll see him brush it away from time to time. And it really is something that I feel could cause a problem.
We don't know if it came from a punch or a clash of heads. There was no indication it came from a clash of heads. So presumably, it keeps getting worse. If it should, for some reason, stop this fight, Hilton would lose. But it's not near to that point yet. Davey Hilton, there's been a subtle change in his approach. He's really concentrated on the body in the last several rounds.
And that could prove to be a very good strategy because, as you said, Steve Little says he's been in the gym, but there have been times when he's come in less than top physical condition.
The Champions, brought to you by new Old Spice Liquid Stick Antiperspirant, the world's most advanced form of protection.
When I was a kid, I used to watch the Roman gladiators in Italy, Hercules, and when they used to throw guys in the arena and they used to fight until one guy was dead or he was pinned down. Well, I like that. I wish it was like that. You know, throw two guys in the ring and let them fight. No referee. When I fight, I don't do dirty tricks. I just fight. I don't want nobody to stop me when I'm throwing punches.
Being neutral, the Swiss enjoy
Had that many wonderful moments in the last 4 rounds. This was one of them. A right hand that momentarily seemed to stun Davey Hilton. From 2 angles, we get it.
Got it.
Off the ear of Davey Hilton.
Here's a look at the Old Spice punch stat. And you can see both fighters throwing about the same amount of punches, but Hilton's have been more effective. So this is the 7th round. Going 10. Hilton trying to keep his record perfect with just a couple of draws to mar an undefeated record.
Despite that 2.5-year layoff, Hilton only 25 years old, so it's not that he's that old. And Stephen Little's just 23. Now Little turning to the southpaw stance. See if that is born of desperation, or he's, well, probably was, because he went right back to righty. See, he Little can beat him to the punch with that left hand when he just goes out and does it, as he did there. Combination by Little, and we've seen almost no combinations from him.
And again, going to the right-hand lead, just not coming in behind that jab.
Now, this hasn't been that bad around for Steve Little. He's boxed a little more effectively, landed his shots, gotten out.
And again, a little bit of blood showing above the right eye of Davey Hilton, but I do think the cut is not really a serious cut. It's more of a nick than anything else, and when the blood does show, it smears over the eye rather than just flows into the eye.
Little does not want to trade left hooks with Davey Hilton, and that's what he's doing right at this moment anyway.
A little bit more blood now from the eye.
They don't want Davey Hilton to be as erect, standing straight up as he is right now. It's one thing Jesse Reed has been working with him on, bending more at the waist and coming up with that left hook.
And he felt it would make him a more powerful puncher, too.
Yeah, and that's really what he ought to be doing. That's the style his brother Matthew adopts most of the time, and when he remembers to stay low and bend and get leverage on his punches, he's very powerful. I think Davey has probably a better jab than his brother, and when he uses it here tonight, it's been very effective, but hasn't used it that much.
Yeah, and it's a strong jab. It's not a pawing kind of jab. Coming down to the end of round number 7, and another pretty good round for Davey Hilton against Steve Little.
Today, over 40 million families.
Some repairs to the ring being done.
Yeah, we got a little hole in the ring apron here, but Larry Hazard, who is the commissioner here in New Jersey, says get some gaffer's tape out there.
It's right in the ring.
The surgery has been performed, the patient lived, and will go on.
Steve Smoger, a man of many talents, but he doesn't do windows.
No, that's right.
Right now.
At the end of that last round, the cut over Davey Hilton's eye opened up a little bit more. I think it's far enough along, though. I don't believe it's really going to have an effect on the fight. Your card.
Hilton winning 68-65. I gave the last round to Little by the narrowest of margins. And so I've still got Hilton with a pretty commanding lead.
3 rounds to go. If your card is indicative, then Little is going to have to go out and win them all.
And on some occasions, my card is indicative. I remember once, it was in 1985.
It was a rainy Tuesday, as I recall.
Ooh, that good body work by Steve Little.
Ooh, another left hand by Little. Well, picking it up here.
He heard you talking about the fact that he had to win those last 3 rounds. Little trading hooks again, though, and that can be very dangerous for him.
Yeah, probably not a real good idea.
Getting his own in, but his is just not going to have the same wallop that Davey Hilton's does. Truthfully, neither man performing up to his total capabilities here tonight. They're not doing dismally, but they're just not performing at peak efficiency. Davey Hilton has not been able to really keep the pressure on, and Steve Little hasn't boxed as well as he might like. Although I think Steve Little's having a darn good 8th round.
But still fighting Hilton's fight.
Yeah, to an extent when he gets in those exchanges, but you know, this round he's landing more often. See all this movement, but where is the jab from Steve Little? It's astonishing to me. He's not even throwing. I mean, I'll bet you in this 8th round, I don't even know if he's thrown one jab yet. We've only got a minute left in the round.
Unless he just feels he's got to get Hilton out of there to win the fight. But
You
hardly think so.
But you need the jab to set those other punches up anyway. There's a couple of jabs by Little. I mean, I don't even know how a boxer like him could go 2 minutes without throwing a jab. It seems almost impossible.
Another shot by Hilton. You can see Little almost turn his body into. There's a right hand by Little.
Set up by the jab, and it landed well. And then came the left hook.
And an uppercut.
That jab could do wonders for Steve Little.
There, though, was a left hand by Hilton.
He's trading hooks. Good round for Little, though, I'll tell you that right now. Maybe his best in the fight.
End of the round. Go back into the corner of Steve Little. One thing about it, we talked about conditioning earlier. Neither man seems to have slowed too much.
No fucking around. Come on, Steve.
Let's go.
He coming.
You want it?
Yeah. I want the motherfucker. Yeah, Mike.
Well, the keys to victory, gosh, remember those? A long time ago. Hilton, I don't think he's kept the pressure on as much as he would like. The overhand right hasn't been anywhere to be found. For Little, he has used the ring, but he hasn't thrown jabs with it. Throw the right hand with conviction, only on rare occasions. So this is a fight where, really, as I said, neither man has done exactly what he wants to do. And occasionally a right hand does come in. Now that's because he set it up with the left, and then there was the right hand. I think that Steve Little, as you look at Jesse Reed giving instructions to Davey Hilton, if Steve Little had been throwing jab, 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 straight right hand in this fight, he could be winning this fight.
A real pep talk in the corner of Steve Little. And we'll see what it does for his man.
Davey Hilton waves him on and says,
yeah.
Come on, time to rumble.
Punch numbers from Old Spice again, and Little with a good round. You said it.
That confirms that Stevie Little came out and was more accurate with his punches and threw a lot more. Boy, Hilton really is going after that body now of Steve Little.
And Steve Little mocking Dave Hilton a little bit here. I've always found it a pretty good way to hurt.
They trade hooks. I'll tell you, they both got in good left hooks. It's not the best for Little to do that, but he has been quick with his left hook, and he's basically gotten away with it. Well, Steve Little is not backing down from Davey Hilton, and even though the last images we had of him before this fight was him getting just blocked by Terry Norris, though Hilton's a good puncher, nothing Hilton has thrown at him tonight has made Steve Little really flinch badly or be hurt. But I'll tell you, if I were Steve Little, knowing that I may have given up a lot of those early rounds, I would be very, very active here, or try to be anyway.
And again, he's had his best success when working off the jab. Now he's just on his bicycle.
Well, if you'd have told me before this fight that Davey Hilton would land more jabs than Steve Little, I would have said you were wrong, but that is exactly what has happened. Now, right there is where Steve Little could have thrown a lead right hand or a counter right hand to try and get to Davey Hilton. He hasn't been as quick with that punch, ironically, as he was against Terry Norris.
And Little is in one of those situations where he has to go out and win rounds, and he's not going out and winning this round. Hilton is just kind of chasing him.
It's almost as if Steve Little is doing just enough to possibly lose the round or make it a draw. He had good moments earlier, but the latter part of this round is going mostly to Hilton.
20 seconds left, and I think Little is going to have to go get the rest of this round. A good exchange, but Hilton got the better of it.
In 1977, Charlie
into the corner of Davey Hilton, no problem with the cut.
Come on now. Come on. Make your hands go.
Kind of a pep talk from Jesse Reed. In the other corner.
Hilton. Come on, Steve, who you gonna be? He goes as Davey Hilton. He's a very engaging young man, as is Davey. Davey Hilton came out winging here in the 10th.
He did. Obviously, both fighters feel they need this round to assure a win.
In the last round, there's the scoring. I gave Davey Hilton the last round, and on our punch profile, apparently that was somewhat justified because Hilton threw 40 punches in that round. Little only threw 28. We don't know about landing, but it shows you how few were thrown by Steve Little.
He danced the whole round, which he's doing right now. I'm going to stop this in a minute and take care of some of the tape that's down from the glove of Steve Little.
Steve Smoger's done a very nice job of refereeing this fight. In fact, this entire evening has been well appreciated by Smoger and Rudy Battle.
Yes, definitely so. Rudy Battle stepping in and stopping the first fight we saw here on ESPN. That's it. Impressive win over Lewis Howard. Stopped it right at the right time.
Yes.
And Hilton, as soon as they get back to action, comes up with the right hand.
Well, a little wildness by Davey Hilton, but of course that's, as we said, part of what makes him tick, and his brother as well. Well, neither guy is going to put this effort on their mantle at home, the videotape, and say, let's look at it again.
Yeah, it's been spotty, I think, on both parts.
Sporadic effort by both men, occasionally good and sometimes not so good. Well, this looked good on paper, style-wise, but I think it's been a combination of Little not doing the boxing we thought he would do, and Davey Hilton not being as effective with his pressure. Had both been the case, it probably would have been very entertaining. It hasn't been a terrible fight, it just hasn't been as interesting as it might have been.
Little's decision to fight the fight the way he has, combined with a little bit of ineffectiveness on the part of Davey Hilton, is probably what made it fair.
I really would be interested in knowing why Steve Little has not thrown the jab more. Oh, a Hilton shuffle. What was it you said earlier? Happy feet. You're going to coin boxing phrases there if you keep this up.
I'm trying to.
Yes. I see some of them pop up in Ring magazine from time to time.
I always want to be quoted in Ring magazine. Speaking of great quotes, I hate to let a fight go by without mentioning Gary Smith's piece on Eddie Futch in Sports Illustrated, which I thought was absolutely brilliant.
Extremely good. Eddie Futch, a grand old man of the game of boxing, and I say old man, I'll tell you what, he is still very active. Good left hook by Hilton. This one's going to pass into the night, and unless something shocking occurs, Davey Hilton may have himself another decision win, but then Steve Little raises his hand. He thinks he's got this one.
I think he does think so. I'm not too sure what the judges will think. I'll tell you, I've stopped trying to guess with judges.
No, this is true.
So Steve Little and Davey Hilton go 10 rounds, moderately entertaining. This is moderately entertaining. I mean, that's sort of like a partial sellout, isn't it?
It's something like Steve Little very vocal up in the ring. He feels he won this fight. And well, I don't quite agree, but
here is the punch profile, and Hilton and Little throwing virtually the same amount of punches, but Hilton throwing them more effectively, and the two fighters fought basically the same type of fight. So that, in fact, is a barometer.
Well, and I think the thing that might make that number go higher for Hilton is, in fact, his body punches. He landed a lot of body punches. We have Little threw 121 jabs in this fight, landed 32. So,
all right, let's get the verdict from Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Resorts International, here's the official scoring. Rocky Castellani scores the belt 97-94. Eva Shane has it 97-93, and Milo Savage scores it 98-94 for the winner by unanimous decision, still undefeated Davey Hilton.
And Steve Little very upset with that decision. I think, Al, your point was well taken. He really did think he won the fight. In fact, he didn't. Davey Hilton wins a unanimous decision.
Your bank sees you. See how fast they move on your home equity loan.
Think they'll call today?